All right. Welcome everyone once again to the Diski Den. Today I'm joined by Nino, Sosome,
What's up, guys?
Awe, yeah, bunch of these things out there, and we
Guys, my
also
name is
have me, Hudson. And before we start, I have to get this out the way. Have to do this every week so we grow, guys. Please subscribe. Please like the video. Comment down below. Let us know how you felt about this game week. We'll be going through PSL and a few other leagues. So please subscribe, like, and help us grow, man. Let's start with the PSL, gents, or let's say the Diski Premiership. Let's start with the DSTV Premiership and a few surprising results. We actually talked about this in the group. There was a big match this week, Sundowns versus Kaizer Chiefs. A bunch of Kaizer Chiefs fans were gassed from the MTN 8 result. A bunch of Sundowns fans were feeling a load down from their result. The match ended up being a 3-0. The player of the season, Temba Zwane, scored a pen. You know, it looked good for Sundowns. So let me just ask you, gents, did you catch the game? What did you guys think? Let's start with you, Nino.
Pretty. It was quite a dope game. It was quite a dope game. I watched the whole thing. Andile Jali, well-deserved man of the final score. I wasn't expecting a 3-0. I was expecting Sundowns to either draw the match or to win it. But to win it 3-0 away from home against possibly the second best team in the league so early in the season just goes to show. I think all the other clubs will be playing catch up to Sundowns. Two out of the two new signings getting on the score sheets, and both those signings being attacking players. Hey man, what a game! What a game! What can we actually say about that game? Sundowns were very dominant for large spells of the game, and it was quite a nightmare start for Kaizer Chiefs. I mean, bottom of the league after match week 1. What do you have to say about it?
I'm the host. I'm the host. Relax, relax. I'm the host for today. So May, your team, Sundowns. You know what? Nino talked about the match. Do you want to talk about the manager, the coaches, how they handled the first Premiership match? Is there anything you want to add?
I just want to say this defending championship stuff, defending champion stuff. They're responding like defending champions of the league, 3-time defending champions, and they stamped the authority, letting the other teams know that we are still here, even though Pizzo isn't. So yeah, I'm looking at the team sheet now, and it says the coach is Rolani Mukwen. So I don't know if there will be alternating names, maybe. Every time you see a lineup, I don't know. I don't know. But all I can say is I'm very proud of the boys. I did say we were going to win. I did not accept such a strong victory, I must say.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very happy. I may not show it, but I'm very, very, very happy. Very, very happy.
Bruh,
That
believe
everyone now
me.
is quiet again.
Believe me, I know you're very happy right now, and I also know why you're not showing it. Don't worry. So you relax, you chill back there. But yeah, just let me just add my low Kaizer Chiefs 2 cents. I guess we have to talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Just it was terrible. It was terrible. We did have good opportunities. We did attack. I thought Banyama coming back from a suspension, and you know, bro, after the M10-8 game, now I was a little cocky. I looked at your coaching situation. I was a little cocky, and that was terrible. That was terrible. I think Gavin Hunt has a long way to go with the team. I want to understand what he was doing. At first, I thought he set up like maybe to play counter, maybe to play counter football. Maybe he wanted to take advantage of the fact that Sundowns probably has the better squad, right? But the coaches are new and the ideas are new. So he wanted to take advantage of maybe the squad not really being all in with the instructions from the new coach. It failed. It absolutely failed, man. Sundowns did well. I have to give credit. I have to give credit to Sundowns. It's a 6-pointer. Let's be real. These are the two teams that will be competing. There were other good results, and yeah, that's how I feel about Kaizer Chiefs, man. Good win, good win. And I said there are other teams that actually did well. I just want to talk about another team that I think maybe wasn't in everyone's mind in the beginning of the season. SuperSport didn't look bad. Didn't look bad. I just want to ask you guys about SuperSport quickly. Do you think they might be saying something when it comes to that title challenge this season? Let's start with you, Nino.
SuperSport is a generally good side. They've got some great players. But I'm not quite too surprised with the actual results against Black Leopards. Black Leopards was lost in the league last season. And, I don't think let me check. I don't think they were playing with Musonda. I wasn't actually watching that game, but Musonda was the top goal scorer like 2 seasons ago with 16 goals or something. And ever since he's been out of that Black Leopard side, it just doesn't look like a team that's ready to compete. They just revealed a new sponsor, so hopefully that influx of cash will help that squad. But to help you with SuperSport, to answer the SuperSport question, they will probably compete for the league. I think so. There's so much uncertainty with these big clubs that with Bidvest out the way, I think SuperSport can be gunning for that top 3 position. They've got a squad for it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And Bidvest, everyone knows what happened to it. And I think it's a good transition to another match. And I want to ask you, Soso, TTM went against TS Galaxy. We actually talked about this before privately, what we expect from the game, right? Is it going to be one of those drawing, boring matches where it's two teams that don't have the quality, or is it going to be like a 5-5 demolition? One thing I can say is that they fielded a full sub bench, so there's improvement there for TTM. Probably got some gems from the taxi ranks and some gems from, the unemployment lines, got to hiring TTM. Good for you, TTM. But also, let me know what you think, man. Was that a result that you expected, or, did you expect teams to concede? And how did the teams perform? Because out there, people are kind of saying that TTM wasn't looking that bad.
The match of the new buyers. It was a very interesting game. That both of those teams bought their status to the Premier League. But the Premiership. Yeah, I just saw now it says Premier League, DSTV Premier League. So I guess it's the Premier League according to Google. So it was a very interesting game, very interesting game. More so if you're a neutral, I think, because I'm sure generally both those teams don't have a very large fan base. So there was a lot of neutrals who were okay with the results because it's still their first game and they were playing each other, and at least none of them dropped 3 points. They just dropped 2. So it was a very interesting game, man, and it'll be nice to see where those teams end up in the log as well. Like, I'm curious. I want to see if they're gonna be able to stay up.
Actually, that's a good point, and I want to ask you, Nino, right? Both of the teams, they just been bought everything. Which team do you think actually dropped the 2 points out of the 2 teams, right? Because I know both of them, you look at them and you're seeing the same WhatsApp group. But as someone who follows this stuff, which team amongst those 2 do you think actually has a chance of not being that relegation team between the two?
That's actually a really tough question, and a really good one at the same time. A part of me wants to say TTM dropped the points, just because the spotlight was on them. The entire saga during this club ownership was on them, more so than TS Galaxy. So I would actually have to check in the squads, check how they rank player to player on paper. But on a first, on my first instincts wants to say that TTM actually dropped the 2 points. I was expecting them to win because they weren't bad in the MTN 8. Even though they did lose, they showed some gusto, and against a team like TS Galaxy, I thought they could do it. I am disappointed with the 1-1 scoreline. I was actually hoping to see some goals.
Yeah, me too.
I was actually hoping to see, some goals throughout the match day, throughout match week 1. I was hoping to see some goals. The Betway squad, here's some advice to anyone who's playing some Betway. Go for the under 3 goal bet for all the PSR games, and you'll never go wrong. Just go under 3 goals every game. See how that goes. Come back to me. Hit a comment if it works.
Comment section. Everyone watching right now. Listen, I get it. Nino's just talking. That is probably the greatest advice. Believe me. You have what Nino has done right now is he has opened new businesses. He has paid for people's deposits for cars. He has he's bought people new clothes. He's bought airtime when you need it. Believe me, that is the greatest advice you can ever hear. And I would be shocked if Betway weren't getting rid of that over and under for PSL for DSTV Premier League Premiership. After that, that is the greatest advice anyone can ever hear. Man, I won't lie to you. That's top tier advice right there. That's top tier advice. I'm going on Betway next. I'm straight up going there. I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah.
Under 3 goals. Under 3 goals.
Under 3 goals.
So, are you doing any sort of Betway?
I was actually on Sport Pesa here, but it doesn't have a lot of these things like your NFLs. Like I see Oaks making NFL slips, and I'm like, yo, there's no NFL on Sport Pesa. There's only like volleyball.
Yeah, I give Betway a try.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, Betway sponsor this video. We are plugging you, and we're not even paying. You better sponsor this. No, I just wanted to ask you a question about the UEFA, but we'll get onto that a bit later.
Yeah, we'll get onto that. But I just want to stay local, just for just a few more things. Pirates drew 1-1. There was a controversial penalty there.
Yeah.
Very, very controversial penalty. And actually spread out throughout the first game week. There was a lot of iffy decisions, right? So, I mean, a couple of goals were scored, but a lot of them were quite controversial. I just want to ask, when it comes to refereeing, right? It's a very talked about discussion all over the world of VAR and everything. Do you think we actually need to start looking at maybe retrospective decisions for referees, maybe getting something like a VAR, something maybe to just, kind of take care of these issues? Because, I mean, yes, we might not be the Premier League, but, I mean, there's some big decisions this game week that were low iffy. I want to ask you first also.
Yeah, with regards to the penalty and the whole VAR thing, I wouldn't support VAR. Like I feel like VAR, I like how the whole machinery works and how they picture everything to the T. But it's like the guys who use it, they have their own hidden agendas. I'm not gonna mention any teams or anything like that, but they have their own hidden agendas. It's been like that from the start. And also I think it probably costs a lot of money to get those kind of cameras, and the PSL doesn't want to take out that money probably.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't see it happening anytime soon, unless there's someone who's gonna be like, hey, okay, cool, you can splash X bar amount on that thing, just so we can stop. Because there was a goal. I don't know which game it was, but the goal was like dismally offside. I think it
Yeah.
was cheaper South.
Yeah.
It was
I think
dismally offside. Because I bet on that game. That's how I remember. It was dismally offside. So, so in that game, like you could see it was as clear as day, and the linesman didn't lift up his hand. If he had VAR, that thing would have been looked at. Obviously, it was like miles offside compared to the defender. And I'm like, I'm wondering how the linesman missed that. You know?
yeah.
So yeah, things like that. It would be nice to have for things like that, like offside, because in PSL they get away a lot with offside goals in the Premiership, in the
Yeah.
DSTV Premiership. So yeah, otherwise in terms of penalties, handballs, all of those things, you know, those elbow offsides that I don't want to talk about, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Nino.
I'm a bit in time.
Nino.
But you know, my thoughts on it, I'm very iffy when it comes to VAR. England hasn't been able to really convince me that it's been beneficial. Instead, I'm seeing a lot of people complain about it and saying,
Yeah.
Mm.
with the addition of this COVID, saying it's actually making them less interested in football. I've been reading some wild comments like that regarding VAR lately. So
Yeah.
I don't know how it. I don't see it as an improvement here in South Africa. I think I agree with Usoso that probably SAFA doesn't have the financial muscle to actually pull that off, because some of our stadiums here in SA aren't even that top notch. So imagine if Sisa Dukash Mtanzan, it's not going to
Yeah.
work, you know.
Yeah.
So that would just end up restricting games to being played in certain locations, strictly in those locations, and
Yeah.
that wouldn't be beneficial to some team. But I think I have a solution, not really a solution, but something very interesting that
Yeah.
could replace VAR, and that would be, I think in rugby they have it, miking up the ref, so we can actually hear the refs and the assistant line, the assistant refs, and actually hearing some of the players on the pitch. I think that would be interesting. It would add maybe a little bit of more context to the game, actually be immersive for people watching at home, actually get to hear what the processes
Yeah.
these referees make. It would be nice to hear them talk through a decision, so we can actually maybe understand them a little bit, actually see if they didn't see that or they did see an offside, a potential offside, or if they were out of line of sight, you know, things like that. I think that would be an interesting alternative to VAR, but I don't necessarily think VAR would be dope here in South Africa.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I probably mentioned VAR as like one of the solutions, but retrospective action, miking the referees, these are all good ideas. These are all good ideas. I think I really like the miking the referees thing, because I think people, to be honest with you, I don't think people really have a problem with refs making bad decisions. They just have a problem with not understanding it. That's why I think the VAR thing is falling apart. Because when referees were just stupid, you could be like, well, the referees are just stupid. But when the VAR thing is there, it's like, how are you stupid knowing the reason why you are stupid, seeing it, getting every angle possible? How are you still making a stupid mistake after getting all the angles and all the looks? So yeah, I actually agree with you, Nino, on that microphone thing. That would be cool, and probably something to experiment with during this COVID situation. There's no fans, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we really care about that artificial fan sounds, So that's a good idea. That's a good idea. DSTV, you know what to do. You know what to do. Betway, DSTV, we making it rain on y'all. We making it rain on y'all. We making it rain on y'all. We giving you them ideas, man. Anyway, Jans, is there anything about the PSR this weekend you want to talk about before we move on?
Hey, man. Soso, do you have something to say?
No. You can talk. You can talk. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 5 draws in 8 games. That's all I'm going to say. 5 draws in 8. And those draws are 1-1 draws, you know, the most painful type of draw. Okay, the second most painful type of draw, 0-0 being the first one. I would say this was a disappointing week for DSTV Premiership, in my opinion. I'm hoping that these midweek games and the upcoming games on the weekend are actually worth watching. There was a lot of build-up to this to the inaugural start of the DSTV Premiership, and only one match lived up to that expectation, and that was the first match, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely right. Soso, and just one more question. This week, there was a lot of disappointment, but next week we've got Pirates against Stellenbosch, Sundowns against TTM, TS against Amazulu. Then is it gonna liven up next week, or do you think we're gonna have these 5 draws and this type of game week?
Now that's for you, so
I think maybe. Yeah, I got that. I think maybe they're gonna pull something out of the English Premier League, and we're gonna get shockers. Because I see some juicy fixtures. Like I see Stellenbosch pulling one up over Pirates, maybe like a 1-0. Like you said, under 3.5 goals. Like a 1-0 or something. Like, but I see a shocker amongst these fixtures. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm looking at them, like, hey, not all of these things are like so clear and cut and dry. You know? I'm looking at them. Even the cheap up Kaizer Chiefs game, I'm like, hey, you never know. These teams might pull like shockers, like how they did in the Premier League. But it's probably 1-0s, 1-1s, 1-0s, and 1-1s. So yeah, I'm definitely placing that bet. Like I'm thinking about it, like, hey, there's a lot of money to be made with these.
Yo,
because everyone didn't score more than 3 goals in all of the games. Yeah, because I'm thinking no one scored 3 goals.
Just don't do that with Sundowns.
Yeah, don't test Sundowns. Don't test
Sundowns.
Don't test Sundowns.
Dino,
what about that Limpopo derby?
Oh wow.
That Limpopo derby. Are you betting under 3 goals in that game? Leopards and Baroka.
We've got Baroka United versus Black Leopards. I don't know, man. I think that's a 1-1. I think that's
less than 3 goals. That's less than 3 goals.
I think that's a 1-1. Nino,
we will make this bet, and we will come back to this episode to verify.
As our evidence.
And believe me, Betway, everyone watching, believe me, what Nino said, that was gospel. Let's go to international shores, right? Couple of big games. I just want to start with one of the, I would say, biggest derbies in the world. Kind of shocking, kind of surprising, but not really. We had 2 teams coming into it. One drew in UEFA, Real Madrid. You know, Barcelona just lost against Getafe, so no one would really say there was a clear favorite. But I think if you had to choose between the 2, a lot of people were giving it to Barcelona, to be honest with you. But Real Madrid came with that Zidane fire. Was it 3-1 or 3-0?
3-1.
3-1 match. Let me ask Nino, as a complicated Real Madrid fan, and that's what I'll say to you about every team, because you just support too many teams, bro. As a complicated Real Madrid fan, what do you think about that game, man?
Firstly, I support one team in every country, and Real Madrid is that team I support in Spain. You know, one thing I've never understood is people favoring Barca when it comes to the El Clasico. I went in this game thinking Madrid were going to win. I actually thought they had form going in, league form, heading into this match. Barcelona is going through a lot. They're going through more than Real Madrid is going through. Lionel Messi hasn't scored in 6 El Clasicos. You know, ever since Cristiano left, he hasn't been integral in the El Clasico. And I feel like the El Clasico needs performances like that. Ansu Fati is just not there yet. He's not there to win an entire El Clasico by himself. When you look at that Madrid squad and you look at those goal scorers, you see quality.
Yeah.
And they just pulled through on the day. They were the better team on the day. Things did start shaky when, for some reason, I'm not sure who scored first now, because I actually caught the game from the second half. I'd have to check, but things were shaky. Yeah, you know, when Ansu scored, when Ansu scored, things were getting a little bit shaky. I thought that maybe this could be the game. But until that controversial penalty on Ramos, I just saw Real Madrid taking it.
Yeah, it's also, you know, Dino talked about Real Madrid having good form. But to be fair, both of them, Real Madrid lost against Cadiz a couple of game weeks ago. Barcelona lost against Getafe. I'll actually agree with you when I say Barcelona is going through a lot right now. Were you surprised at the result? Or do you think Real Madrid was just the favorite for you?
First of all, I've always been unsure about Ronald Koeman, because I still have that concept that you cannot, not everyone is as Zinedine Zidane and Pep Guardiola. You don't become a good player and a great coach at every, like not everyone is destined for that, basically. So I think he got schooled by Zidane, Zidane banding, and then basically. Like when I saw that result, because I didn't even watch that game, hey? Yeah. I didn't even watch that game. When I saw that scoreline, I was like, yeah, the king of Spain is not Ronald Koeman. And he's not even close to Zidane. Like Zidane understands his team so well that I feel like they have an on and on switch when they want to win or lose, those guys. Because when they win, they win. Like I don't know, he understands that too well.
Yeah, I just have one more point about El Clasico, a very quick one. I won't lie, ever since Ronaldo left, I don't mean to be a stan. But he kind of left with the gas. He left with the juice. He left with the spice. He left with something very intangible about that El Clasico. He left with half the rivalry, you know? It is what it is until we find the next superstars, until that rivalry somehow is electrified again. I don't know.
But then
Real Madrid might have to buy Mbappe. Real Madrid might have to buy Mbappe and tag Mbappe against Fati or Haaland against Fati, but we need two philosophies that stick out, that compete against one another. Right now, there's nothing. To me, they're just two big Spanish clubs, and they need to work on it. On that rivalry.
I feel like that thing happened with Madrid when it comes to winning Champions League. Ronaldo left, and now they have no desire to win Champions League. They don't have that missing element. He was always the missing element. Ever since he left, I'm like, hey, he was actually a missing element to them winning Champions League. Like when he was there, they were winning Champions League. They won it 4 times in the space of 5 years.
Yeah.
So you have to think about it. Even though Bale came and he won, you can give credit to that. But Ronaldo, he wins over and over and over again, and then he left, and then they didn't make final. Then another season they didn't make final.
Yeah.
Since final. So
and
that's what I think happened to them in the Champions.
I have to agree with both of you guys, especially Nino. That point was a big point. It's like they lost half of the rivalry, right? You had the two big Spanish teams, and you had the 2 best players in the world going head to head, and that's just lost. Another game that lost a lot of edge this weekend, big game, was Chelsea versus Man United. Just I don't think we have to go far off this one because they really gave us nothing to talk about. But we've got a Chelsea fan in the house. So I think we have to talk about it. So Main, your boy Frank Lampard. And I've got a very important question to end today's episode off. I've got
I
a very
really don't want
important
to talk
question.
about it. So you can ask that question. I really
Let's
don't want
move
to talk
on.
about it. That's the most boring game I've watched this whole season. This whole season is the most boring game I've ever watched. I think we only had one shot on target in a match game.
Yeah.
Saphefumula ngophaya, but go intense. Like when those shots are being taken, I was like, I ain't gonna care. This guy is not gonna let these goals go in. It's not care. And he saved it. I didn't like my heart didn't beat. I was like, yo, nali goal kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's how bored I was from that match. I'm like, yo, in 90 minutes, yeah, I'll never get back that 90 minutes. I just wasted it on this game. Yo, I'll never get it back. As possible any status Samos and you know what a waste of 90 minutes. I was like, yeah, worst game I've watched in years. I don't know what's missing there. But Lampard, my heart will be at ease.
Good, because that transitions me perfectly to the question. Just draw against West Brom, draw in UEFA, loss against Liverpool, draw against Man United,
loss against Spurs,
loss against
Spurs,
kicked out of the cup,
draw against Sevilla, draw against Sevilla. Yeah.
Should we start talking about Frank Lampard's job? Should we start talking about Frank Lampard's job? Nino, I'm going to start with you.
Are you asking me or Nino?
I'm asking both of you, but let's start with Nino.
Let me start. This actually requires some thought. I will say, you know what's Frank Lampard's saving grace is his counterpart, Ole. Ole is Frank's saving grace. Because if United wasn't where they are and they were putting that pressure on Chelsea, Lampard could have been gone a while ago. So I'm saying, as long as Ole is there as that saving grace, Lampard may stick around a little bit longer, let's say up until group stages of the UEFA final. Now, if he finds himself in Europa League, I think he's out of there. With the amount of money that he spent, if he drops out of the UEFA, he is out of there. So I think that'll be his main test. When it comes to the league right now is so unpredictable. I think it's because of the lack of fans. Honestly, I think it's starting to show. Because when you look at the table around this, we're close to 10 games now, and the table is kind of unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And I think that theme will carry across. So it's kind of hard to say what the league is going to look like, even for Chelsea. I'm not sure who they're playing next, but I think it's a favorable fixture for them. It was United. Yeah, it was United at the end of the day. They were robbed of a penalty. You guys saw that Maguire challenge.
Yes.
And the conditions were horrendous. Just at the end of the day, man, sometimes the worst conditions can just bring upon a dull game. It is what it is. It was against United. Well, let's give them a few more games. I've seen a lot of you guys say you guys don't like Lampard's relationship with Mount for some reason, and his tactical prowess. So we will see. I'm not a Chelsea guy. What do you have to say?
Quickly. And so let me just add this. You guys sent Mauricio sorry after he came third and won an FA Cup. You sacked him. Europa League, sorry, not FA Cup, you're right. Europa League, which I think is even better than the FA Cup because it takes you to UEFA. So I have to ask, Lampard came fourth, didn't do much. Do you think he should get sacked or not?
I'll be trying to be very brief, but I'm going to go into detail at the same time. I think he should go because every good coach learns from their mistake. This guy basically mistake last season in which was the defense. Our defense was in shambles. What does this guy do? He buys attackers only. Zodwa,
Yep.
bruh. Like, you know, if you love Mason Mount so much, let the boy play 10. And 10 next season. Don't buy Havertz. Like, I'm happy we bought Havertz, but we didn't need to buy him. You know what I mean?
That's a fair point.
Sizamu challenge, I believe. Last season, nothing Goku. Everything I felt like was rash. I think FIFA manager mode, man, Lampard. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's playing manager mode on FIFA, that guy. Imagine, bruh, you put a kid who's a centrally Mount. And I have no problems with Mount when he plays centrally. Like, la pace is pagatin, yadinga, because he has the pace. Then
Yeah.
if I get wingy in Lampard, and I'm like, oh, man, what about Hakim Ziyech? Ziyech, I don't know how many assists he had for Ajax, but that's devastating his assists. Like, he literally, when he cuts in, I bet he cross on the left, you know it's going to land on an Ajax player some way, somehow. Now I'm thinking we have Pulisic on the left, we have Werner up in the middle.
Yep.
It's like guaranteed goals 7 out of 10 times. But that guy's a Amila combination. He doesn't even think of that combination. As Mount Wakepa, and then Afago have it off the bench. And if you have it off the bench, I'm sure time on the bench will make that German think, shit, I'm the most expensive player. I bet you pressure. And then he's going to deliver. And when he starts delivering to a Mount, Salah Pansy, or do crazy shit with the midfield. Like, he doesn't have to stick to Kovacic and Jorginho or Kante and Jorginho. He can mix masala that midfield if he wants to. Calm as a divine players. Because I feel that, like, defense, if Silva and Tamori are there, it's the kid and the mentor. The kid's gonna learn from that guy. Zuma, and I think late, he can't learn shit. Like, that person is horrible. I don't even want to talk about it. He can't learn shit. Yeah,
the growth is done. If for those who play FIFA.
Yeah, the growth is done.
For those who play FIFA, they know Zuma's growth is done.
Then,
79
and then the game is weak. Matua Salah, Brentford, FA Cup, you can play like the Zuma and Rudiger combination as Alice Champions. We just give them game time. But then, like, the only problem I have with this is the right back, because attackingly, Reece James is very good as a right back in terms of attack. But then, we still need to keep steadiness, we differentiate. So we can't ship in more goals than we shipped in the last time. Because now we've officially shipped in 9 goals in 6 games. 9 goals. And I'm like, it got differentiated to last season. Yearly, actually sang in Manchester United. Are we repeating the same mistake yet again? Because I see him with these 2 clean sheets, but I'm thinking, how long will this thing last with Lampard? Because Lampard, it's too attack-minded. He's not a balanced manager. Even the substitutions he makes as well, you're like, Like, I loved him as a player, but as a coach,
he got you 20 goals every season. That's what he knows. He knows how to get those goals.
That's the thing.
Don't play,
but
brilliant. It doesn't reflect. It doesn't reflect sometimes.
Brilliant.
Sometimes you can be a dope player and a bad manager. Dope player and bad manager.
Yeah.
Just we do this.
Like, you know who else I see getting sacked? You see who else I see getting sacked?
Wait. You read my mind. Soso. I was gonna do a quick fire at the end. 5 minutes at the end. Just sack race. We haven't covered it yet. 3 managers right now who are getting the sack. Let's put Scott Parker out the way. He's clearly in the 3. So I'm gonna ask for 2. It's harder than you think. Nino, let's start with you.
In Europe or just England?
Let's say everywhere.
I'm actually not ready for this, because I thought David Moyes was going to bounce, but David Moyes has turned that ship around. He's turned, it's tough. I want to say Sheffield's coach, but, Chris Wilder, but, I think the fans will understand what's happening at Sheffield. This is really tough. I want to put Frank Lampard there, but I believe management wants to give him 2 full seasons at Chelsea. This is actually so tough.
Very tough.
But let me, and I don't want to stall. Let me take a quick glance.
Can I say mine quick? Yeah. Get it out the way as a host.
Yeah.
All right. Scott Parker, Slaven Bilic,
Yeah.
Frankie Lampard. That's my three. Slaven Bilic, West Brom,
Okay.
Frank Lampard. That's my three. Scott Parker. I'm sure I've given you enough time. So you can jump quickly. You've had enough time to think.
Tuchel survived. Thomas Tuchel is gonna get fired by PSG. I see it
PSG.
happening. That PSG is not the same anymore. It's not the same anymore. He's lost
That's
that
actually a
trust.
good
He needs to
shot.
go.
That's actually a good shot.
Yeah. And then Scott Park, I also agree. It's late that I didn't want a game in 6 games. Like, when it's time to go, it's time to go, guys. It's time to go. It is time to go. Yeah, and then who else? Yeah, the third one is the hard one. The thing is, the weak team. I think Sean Dyche is going to get fired.
That's a
Because Sean
shout.
Dyche is going to lose this game against Spurs.
That's a
He's
shout.
going to lose this game against Spurs. I bet we Chelsea, my Bible, this guy is taking us down with us.
Okay.
Nino, we've given you enough time.
That's very tough to follow up because your shouts were dope. I'll make a big call because I think the football world needs a big shock. Ole is out of here. A few bad results. United cannot be at 15th for any longer.
Oh my God.
They cannot reach.
Right.
They cannot not for any longer, guys. One more draw, one more loss keeps them there for a long time. You know, Scott Parker for sure. I think out of the relegation teams, Fulham will want to change ship. Sheffield may have a little bit more trust with Wilder and Slaven Bilic with West Brom. I mean, what were they expecting? I'll have to say Sean Dyche as well. I'm hopping on your bandwagon, so sorry, guys. Sorry, folks. Sorry. It was quick fire questions. I couldn't
think. Fire questions. That's how they work. You got to be ready for them. Every
Scott
week.
Parker,
every week, I'm gonna surprise you.
Ole.
All right.
Yeah. That was a surprise.
Right.
Scott Parker, Ole,
and Sean Dyche. That's it right there. Okay, gents. That's been this episode. We've gone for quite a long time. Guys, thank you for watching. Support the boys. Comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about the game week. Man United fans, Chelsea fans, Sundowns fans, Kaizer Chiefs fans. Come out from hiding. Come out. I'm here. So come out. Talk about your team. Guys, thank you for watching again.
And do you think I said 1-0? Do you think I said 1-0?
It's been Dino. It's been Sosome. It's been Hudson. We'll catch you guys later. Adios.